Government Committee on October 20th, and we are lining up Don Peterson to come to your meeting, to the board meeting on October 21st. Then the other dates are going to be discussed with the General Government Committee, and we'll be building up to, throughout the month of October, the legislative forms will be distributed to the board members and the department heads for their input for legislative items, and those would be submitted on October 31st. And then through the month of November, then we will be putting together the legislative platform and then taking it to the General Government Committee on November 17th. So this is all building up to the first board meetings of the new year with the new board, that we will have a platform prepared for presentation in early January.
Thank you. Supervisor Smith?
Not on this. Back to supervisor's reports.
Oh, okay. All right. Seeing no questions for Mr. Kaler, thank you, Mr. Kaler. Back to supervisor reports, Supervisor Smith.
Thank you. Just to draw attention to General Government Committee minutes that says it was the general consensus of the committee to direct staff to present a report of the committee's findings associated with the posting of board agenda materials on the county website to the Board of Supervisors, thereby clearing this item from committee. So that would be our recommended action that would come back on the consent calendar. I thought it was today that it was going to, but no, whatever. Whenever. Just to draw attention to that was the recommendation of the committee, and bringing it back to the full board to clear it from the committee. So next week.
Okay, now I'm clear. Okay.
Be on consent next week.
Okay. Any other supervisor reports? Seeing none. Supervisor Smith, does that conclude your?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Okay, let's bring back the 800-pound gorilla, and that is the adoption of the final budget for 0809 for further discussion and or adoption. Anyone willing to take a stab? Supervisor Smith, Supervisor Koufax, at where we want to go with this? Anyone else? I have the luxury of having the gavel and keeping my mouth shut at this point. So I'm looking for some input. Supervisor Koufax.
I think here that the way this is played out, it's unfortunate.
Thank you. To repeat myself, I think the way this is played out has been unfortunate. And I'm partly responsible for the situation we're in here, but I don't apologize for that. I think what is necessary here is that we recognize that we're probably about $1 million off on this budget, if we were to be honest. And my concern here is the fact of systematic review of alternatives has not come forward in a way that we recognized after we've gone through the whole process of dealing with the budget right up through a week ago. The take I have on it is that we are going to have issues with the sheriff's budget. I think we're all committed to working together to work things out. However, we have to anticipate this in order to say we have a balanced budget, in my opinion. The other matter has to do with the teeter obligation. And again, we went into this and made commitments. We were talking about commitments earlier today and sticking with them and so on. But this is a commitment I thought that we made. And now that the Ukiah Daily Journal has picked up on it, apparently the closer we get to taking responsibility for some of these things that have been a long time rooted in the activities of budget creation here at the county. Now that in the last couple of years that we've been making a real effort to look at just what our liabilities are and so forth, somehow or other we're told this particular configuration of the Board of Supervisors is responsible. That's not the case at all. Historically, it goes way back, and we're talking about a decade, well over a decade ago, that this situation kicked in. The third thing that I'm concerned about is we did put aside, or committed to $200,000, no more than $200,000 in order to get our balanced budget. So that's the third area in which we have a degree of indebtedness. So taking roughly those three items, my feeling is here, these are going to come back and bite us, and that makes no sense for us to be anticipating that we've got a balanced budget and say, oh yes, but, or uh-oh, or gotcha. And that's the sort of thing that I think we need to address, and I think it can be addressed if we, at this point, we're either to extend this discussion period. Apparently we have a resolution that we could extend the final budget discussions to October 2nd. But I really think here we have to acknowledge the fact that we have $1 million shortfall in terms of what we see in the offing. Now, if we want to pretend it's not out there, then there's nothing out that, frankly, I'm going to be able to convince anybody of. But unless we face up to this and say, what would we do? And this is the advanced planning that is necessary to create a budget that then can be called a balanced budget, because we've taken into account these contingencies and these possibilities. So we could either extend this, or we could commit to